Hi guys! So today I'm going to be sharing my birth story with you all.
Good, sometimes I don't, no. I finesse down Western Road, next. Might go down to G.O.D, I go hard on South.
It's a little bit of a long one, so if you do want to go grab a cup of tea, then go grab that now. And carry on with the video. Woo! So the first birth story I'm going to tell you is obviously my firstborns, and that is my son Archie. He is now 3 years old. He will be turning 4 in August. Going to school this year. I was about 41 weeks pregnant and 1 day overdue. That 1 week and 1 day was the longest time of my life. I bet you all can relate. Longest time of my life. The whole night before I went into labour, I was having little contractions, Braxton Hicks, all night long. The morning I woke up, I was still having those contractions, but they were a lot stronger. Now, since having 2, I can tell you that they weren't as strong as what I thought they were, okay? I was completely, obviously, over-exaggerating because I just don't know. Second time round, I didn't even flinch with those contractions. But, yeah, you know, first baby and all, didn't know a thing. Thought that was the worst of it. Yeah, having little ones all day long, walking around the park with my boyfriend, trying to get him out faster, went to hospital, and it was because obviously I planned to have my baby in a birthing unit. Now you'll understand why. I don't know, I just wouldn't even think like you're going to, because you never know what could happen. But anyway, yep, I went to the hospital that morning. It was around, well, we didn't go first of all because we went up Bluewater for some reason. And when I think of it now, I was like, what was I doing? Even when I answered the phone to my mum, she was like, where are you? I was like, in Bluewater. She was like, why? I was like, I don't even know. I didn't even know. But anyway, yep, we went Bluewater. Walked around Bluewater too. And then, yeah, after Bluewater, it was getting a little bit worse. So then I went to the hospital. It was around, let's say around 1, 2 by this time. And yeah, she checked down there, as they do. It's a very unpleasant thing that they do. And I was only 1 centimetre, and she said that basically she gave me a sweep and that brought me to 2 centimetres, but for me to stay in there I needed to be 4 centimetres. So obviously she was like, you can stay here for a little while, but if you're not dilating more then you have to go. I decided to go anyway. We went again. And then we came back when it was much worse for me. And then she checked down there again and she said I was only at a 2 to a 3. So it wasn't a full 3, but it was near to a 3. And then I was like, okay. And she said, you can stay here, but if you're not with the 4 centimetres again, then you will have to leave, because obviously I couldn't be bothered to keep going and flipping coming back to the hospital. It was long, and it is long when you're fat, okay? I don't say that in a horrible way, but that's how I felt. I felt fat at this point, and my back was killing me. I was hot. It was summertime at that time as well, and I was just mad. I just had to get the baby out. So I ended up staying there that time. I was basically bouncing on balls and everything, trying to keep my cool, and it was hurting. It was hurting. And this was when I was only at like a 3 to a 4. Put it that way. And it was hurting then. But it's a lot different from my second one, because with my second one, I think I handled it well. Really well, considering the first time. I think I just panicked. And most people do, they just panic. And to be honest, if I was going to tell anyone that's about to have a baby, or anyone that's going to have a baby, like soon or not so soon, just don't panic. Go in with knowing it's going to be painful, like it's going to be really painful, but just go in with a thought of like, what helped me as well with my second time is the breathing. Like, I will make another story, birth story, with that story, but today's obviously my son's one, so stay tuned for that one, because it's a much nicer birth story. If you are about to have a baby, I probably wouldn't watch this one. Yeah, this one's a lot worse. We went back in. I was going through like loads of pain, and I was puking up at the same time with him. I was puking up days before I became pregnant with him as well, like up until the day. And I was puking all the way through it. Couldn't eat, couldn't do nothing. They kept on shoving hot chocolate in my face, like I wanted to drink hot chocolate whilst I was being sick. Who the hell does that? Who does that? But you have to keep your sugar levels high. So, yeah. Anywho, and then basically I was going through that, and then they try to send me home. They were like, I'm sorry. They didn't even check me before either. They were like, sorry, you're gonna have to go now, because obviously you're not dilated to a 4. And I was like, I was screaming at the girl. I feel bad for my nurses, because I was screaming, and I was just like, are you nuts? Like, I was like, I'm not going home when I can feel the pain I'm feeling. You can't send me home. I said, I bet you any money now, if you check me, I am going to be more than a 3, okay? I'm going to be at a 4. They checked me. Never take the nurse's word for it, okay? If you believe you need to be there, you express that thought, okay? Because most of the times with both pregnancies, I was right. I was right, because I knew more than what they knew. Believe in what your body's telling you. Like even with my second as well, like a couple of times they sent me home, you know, when I should have been well and truly there way before, like, but you know, stay tuned for that one. That was a good one. But this one happens to go really badly. Like at a point I was in full-blown labour, and it was like really late now. I think it was like 10 or 11, and I went to the toilet whilst I was in labour, and literally loads and loads and loads of blood came out, but there was more than just blood. Like, oh, just make sure if you're pregnant, get the hell off now, okay? Just get off now. There was like clots and everything in there. Like, it was really, really yuck. And as soon as that happened, the nurse, like, this is what I don't like about hospitals as well. The nurse literally just ran over to her other nurses, whispered in their ear, and then everyone just ran out the room as if it was some sort of emergency. Didn't let me know anything, didn't let any of my family know anything. And we were all just like sitting there worrying, because my mum knew, obviously, but I didn't. I was, yeah, I was just like focusing on the pain, really. After this, they just kept on making sure his heart rate was okay. But I was eventually at a point where I couldn't take the pain, and I was like basically asking for anything. I wanted an epidural. At this point, and they were like, no, you said in your birth plan that you didn't want the epidural, so are you sure you want the epidural? We can give you pethidine. So I tried the pethidine. I tried the blimmin' pethidine, okay? The pethidine, that gets you high, yeah, off your head. But it does not take no pain away, like, at all, for me anyway. It really didn't cut it. I did try the gas and air before as well, before the pethidine, and literally, because I was so sick, it made me feel sick. So yeah, I got the pethidine, and then I ended up having to have a sickness injection, which made me puke even more. So if you're being sick, don't get the sickness injection. Just don't get it, because it makes you more sick than you actually are. Anywho, and then I was just laying there on the pethidine. I was quite high, like, I weren't screaming so much, so it's good for them, but it still hurt an awful lot, like an awful lot. Anyway, I was about at an 8 centimeters at this point. Then baby's heart rate went down, and they all went rushing out the room again, didn't say a word, and then the next thing I know, they came in with a stretcher. I laugh now because it was such a shock, like, to everyone else but me, because I was so high. And not only that, but if I had known and I weren't that high, I would have freaked the fuck out. Sorry about swearing, but I would have freaked the hell out, like, honestly. Brought in a stretcher, carried me onto a stretcher. It literally, for me, it took like 2 seconds and I was in the labour ward. And they had to bring me up there because obviously I was in the birthing suite, but you're not allowed to be in a birthing suite if anything goes wrong. They then brought me straight into the operation room. Is it the operation room? I don't know, I forgot. But they brought me straight in there. They laid me down and they said, look, we're gonna have to give you a C-section. And they were like, we're gonna have to give you the epidural, and we're gonna have to give you a C-section. So obviously I didn't know what the fuck they were saying anyway. At this point I was like on cloud nine, like, I was just like, okay, okay, what the hell can I do about it? I'm off my nugget, like. But anyway, got the epidural, which I was actually really terrified of getting, so yeah, I didn't get it a second time. But yeah, I was terrified of getting that at the start, but when you're in it, you really do not care anything to take that pain away. But yeah, they gave me that, but it weren't my decision in the end. I did want it, but they kept on talking me out of it. But yeah, they said that they were going to operate and do a C-section, and they told everyone, and only my boyfriend was allowed in, and my mother and my stepmom was outside. Yeah, so they didn't get to see and like be with me, so they were a lot more worried, if you know what I mean. But anyway, all of that panic, and then the doctor turns around and says, oh, it's okay actually, because his heart rate's just come rising back. And I was just like, okay. Obviously it weren't panic for me because, as I said, I weren't there. Like, I weren't all there. But all that panic for everyone, and it didn't even happen in the end. Anyway, after that they brought me back into labour ward, and then they went and just get me to push here and there. Eventually his heart rate went down again because we were in the middle of pushing, and his heart rate went like, she only said that I had like 2 pushes left, and that was it. The baby would have came out, but his heart rate went right down, so they had to rush it pure. Like, they just basically said, look, we've got to get the baby out right now. We have to do it right now, this second. His heart rate's dropping so fast. We need to get him out now. And then they said that they had to use forceps. Like, I know what you'll be thinking, because I was thinking that too. Like, the forceps, don't even get me wrong, weren't that painful. The painful part was I actually had to get cut. Like, oh my gosh, can you, like, if that has happened, or if that has not happened, believe me, that's pain. I had the epidural and I felt that. I felt getting sliced, okay, down there. Like, oh my word, no word of a lie, that was the worst. That was the worst out of the whole flipping thing. Out of the whole thing. I just spat everywhere. So sorry. But anyway, yeah, that was the worst. And then they did use forceps. I think that's why they cut me. They couldn't really fit the forceps in. Oh my gosh, I'm just thinking about this. If like boys are watching this, then this is a little bit too much information for you lot. But hey ho, this is what mums do, and this is what probably your mum has done for you, so hush, okay? Anywho, even when she was stitching it back after like the whole thing, after he came out, because as soon as he came out I was just like, oh, he's my baby. I remember those words off by heart. I was just like to my mum, Mummy. Well, I didn't say mummy. I said, Mum, oh, he's my baby. And I just cried my eyes out. But yeah. Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna cry. After you have a baby as well, like, you're so emotional. It's unreal. After him, I got stitches down there, and believe me, you can actually feel the string go right the way flipping through. Like, oh my word. I didn't think I will, but I did. Like, see, this is the thing about an epidural. You can feel certain things. You can definitely feel certain things, but then they do give you control over it. I didn't use that much, so I could walk like after as well. So, got my little girl, she was crying, so I had to go get her. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Most of you that are probably pregnant probably didn't enjoy it, because it's probably freaked you out now. But yeah, there will be another birth story of how I had this little one. And yeah, hope you enjoyed. Please like and subscribe, because it really helps us out. Again, please like and subscribe, and I will see you on my next one. Love you. Ooh, can you see yourself? Look, look, look at the camera, look. Say hello. Say hello. Say hello. No, not to the mirror, look. Say hello. Say hello. Bye bye.